Good news, everyone. I managed to drag myself away from Final Fantasy 16 and Final Fantasy 14 long enough to record another preview or two. But what am I looking at this time? We're going to have to wait and find out, or just look at the thumbnail, which is on screen right now, to see what I'm looking at. I'm going to let you know what I think of them, whether or not they're any good, and just how bad that fourth one is. If you want to know why I'm saying that, stick along to the end of the video to find out why. I promise you it's worth the entry fee. By the way, watching this video is free, although I would appreciate if you click that subscribe button, because it definitely does help me. And join me, because this is a 2023 summer anime preview from a different perspective. First up today, we got Level 1 Demon Lord and One Room Hero, a common anime about a hero who defeats the Demon Lord at an epic battle to save the world from devastation. Fast forward 10 years, and the Demon Lord is resurrecting and wants to fight the hero again, just because that's what they do. Unfortunately, by waking up early, the Demon Lord is now a cute little chibi girl who has no let up in her power. It's just is very tiny and pint size. Wanting to go and fight the hero again, she goes out into a wide world seeking out a hero. Wide world being very much like our world, not like an isekai world like you'd expect from this type of, not like a fantasy world like you'd expect from this type of anime show. And she finds a hero, who 10 years later is now a washed up, jobless, penniless slob, living in a one-room apartment in a run-down apartment block. You know the type you see in all the anime. Rubbish everywhere, including tissues and interesting silicone devices. But the whole comedy of this one is the Demon Lord Mao finding Max the hero and finding him to be a penniless slob and getting really frustrated that he's let himself go. You see, to Max, he's defeated the Demon King, but once he's done that, what is he useful for? He's only got one job, and that's defeating the Demon King. Until then, he's useless. He's just a muscle-brained idiot who can't really get anything done. And so the world pretty much abandons him to slobbery, and so he ends up where he is now. We're only really introduced to one other character in the first episode, and that's the Demon King's secretary, assistant, Xenia, who wears a swimsuit, a one-piece. Very attractive, but like a lot of its anime, it's very crude in the way it does its camera angles. You get an interesting eyeful quite a lot of the time when watching her. And I think this is why the anime is going to be progressing as well. It wasn't terrible. I mean, I chuckled a few times about it, but it's not one I'll probably stick with unless there's not much else on, which, I'll be honest, this season so far, there's probably not a whole lot on. If you do want to watch Level 1 Demon Lord and One Room Hero, this one is airing over at High Dive. Next up, we've got another isekai. It's Sweet Reincarnation, an anime about a man who is reincarnated in another world after dying and gets superpowers because of his isekai main character. However, this one has an interesting twist on it. It's quite a sweet twist, actually, in that he's, in his previous life, a world-class patissier. In fact, his death is probably one of the more comical isekai deaths I've seen ever, as he's crushed by his own sugar sculpture. And showing pity, the goddess gives him loads of powers, which he wants to use in this other world to create the Sweets Kingdom. He wants to spread the love of sweets and desserts and patissiere into this new world. A world that is not really ready for this type of high cuisine, but he's going to make it ready, so help him God. Now, Sweet Reincarnation, main character Pastry, he is very much set in his ways. He knows everything from our world because he was a world-class patissiere. He's trying to make his way in our world. The other characters just see him as this precocious young kid who knows too much, but for some reason is helping the area prosper. It is world building and city building style at isekai. It's not defeating the Demon King or being overpowered for the sake of being overpowered. And that's the type of isekai I don't mind as much. This one feels a little bit too overpowered and a bit too self-centered. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's not a nasty guy, he's not a dick, but it seems to be all focused on him being powerful and not really the other characters or the whole premise of it yet. There's not really any threats or dangers right so far, other than a few bandits which are probably going to get buried by sugar. But I'm going to give this one a few more episodes. Like I say, I didn't mind it, I liked it. The premise appeals to me. You know, maybe this will be my trashy isekai this season. But if you want to try this one's airing over at Crunchyroll. Next up today, we've got The Dreaming Boy is a Realist, a slice-of-life romantic comedy anime about what happens if you combine Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai with Realist Hero. Not really though, because it's about a guy who is basically just a big perverted danger to society. He spends all his life just stalking this one girl. He likes her, obviously. I mean, don't get me wrong, she's pretty cute. And spends his entire life just stalking her. She was aware of it, she doesn't like him. Or so she says. And he's just a nuisance, which is just on a case every single day until he gets hit in the head by a football. Except for the fact he doesn't, just bounces off him, and he has a sudden change of personality. He suddenly realises that stalking her is not the way to go forward, and he's been bothering her, and he doesn't really want to be a bother, so he just goes back to his normal life and doesn't pay her any attention anymore. Now, this is where the twist of this one, which some people are going to view as interesting, some of you are going to view as a bit worrisome. The main female character, Aika, suddenly finds herself lost. She spent years of her life just being stalked by this guy, and suddenly there she is, being ignored. And so she finds herself paying more attention to him, rather than him paying her more attention. And there's definitely chemistry there, and I think she does realise that she does like his company, even if he is a bit creepy. We're introduced to another bunch of girls. We've got the upperclassman Reina, who is a big flirt, comes on to Wataru, but more so as a replacement for her boyfriend who just dumped her. We also meet Aika's friend Kei, who is just a friendly tag-along friend really, although I expect she may also get feelings for Wataru at some point. Not to mention, of course, Wataru's big sister, who is a vice president of accounts, I think he said. Kaede, who is a big sister. That's all you really need to know about her. And of course, Wataru, the perverted person who is kind of reformed. He's now more of a realist, as the title suggests. He doesn't really want to bother trying to confess because he knows he's going to get turned down, so why bother trying? He still views her as attractive, still views her the same way. It's not worth it, not worth the effort. And this anime, again, I will probably watch another episode of this one at least, but it felt like it didn't know where it was going. It had an identity crisis, and it came across as slightly creepy at times. Well, not just at times, a lot of the time. And with that, I'm not sure if I can really recommend it. And like I said earlier, it's not a terrible anime, but it's also not going to win any grand prize awards or be rewatchable. It may be just one to watch and throw away, or just skip. But if you do want to try this one's also airing over at High Dive. Finally today we got an anime which I would admit I was anticipating. I saw the promo art, I saw the premise, and this one kind of intrigued me. The Girl I Like Forgot Her Glasses. It's an anime about a boy and his next door neighbouring class girlfriend, or want-to-be girlfriend, I. And the day that I forgot her glasses. You see, I has terrible, terrible eyesight. And so terrible, the fact that she has to get this close to a piece of paper to actually see it. And so when she's squinting, trying to see things which are far away or that she can't see, she comes across as looking angry or pissed off at you. And our main character, who already found her attractive, finds that side to her very, very interesting. Again, is a loser main character in anime. He freaks out every bloody move she makes. But there's something endearing there between our main character, Kaede Komura, and his attraction towards the beautiful-haired Ai. However, one thing which I will say, and one thing I didn't realise going into it, is this anime has a problem. Now, this is a problem which I've come across a lot on this, previously on this preview guide. Not this year so far, but it has affected anime in the past, but none which I've really anticipated. And you know I have some favourite studios. Obviously anything done by Doga Kobo wins bonus points off me straight off the bat, because I like what they do most of the time. However, there's one particular studio which I try and steer clear of. That's mainly because everything I've watched I've done in recent years, they used to do decent anime in the past, but in recent times their anime have been shockingly bad. As in, I would describe one of them as the worst anime I've ever seen. This isn't that bad. If it wasn't for a few things, I would even hazard a guess of saying this one is partially watchable. Honestly, with some of the stories in this one, if it wasn't for the animation, I would be giving it a high amber. but I'm not going to recommend this at all. Now, I'm going to try and put some video clips. I don't not doing this very often because there's always a bit of iffy about it, but I think this is fair use in terms of what I'm describing here. In fact, if you've seen some of the images I've posted up already, you will probably already know it's Gohans. Or terrible CG anime. Gohans are the studio behind suffers from the same sort of problems that Rose did. You see, Gohans does good CG backdrops. They know they do. And so they show them everywhere. Every single scene has got a glossy CG backdrop. The characters are animated in 2D, which is some of target, just ever so slightly moving direction one, not quite fast enough to really be meaningful, but not quite slow enough, and a different frame rate to the actual anime going on. I had the patience of a 5-year-old who just learned how to use a computer. They were pressing every single button, getting every sort of effect going on, and none of them were really making any sense. If you've got any way of ignoring that, good luck. This one is probably worth a try in that situation, but for most people, steer clear. This is a case of Gohan's taking something which could have been good and making it trash. This one's airing over at Crunchyroll. And so that was Level 1 Demon Lord and One Room Hero, Sweet Reincarnation, The Dreaming Boy is a Realist, and The Girl I Like But Got Glasses. 4 very different shows of very variant quality. Let me know what you think in the comments, let me know what I'm wrong about them, and remember to like, comment and subscribe, and join me next time for more. Until then, bye bye.